Hello. So exciting. Hello, hello. Okay, so I decided to go live on here because I was in a group that I'm a part of for women entrepreneurs, business owners, and I just wanted to go live. And I named the title of this video is to embrace the level up because you are the butterfly. I'm actually going to go live on Instagram as well. So give me 1 second. Okay, let's see. Technology is fun. Let's see, 1 second. Super exciting, y'all. All right. So I'm going live on YouTube and on Instagram, but recently the concept of a butterfly has been coming up so much for me. And I actually had a photo shoot this morning where there were butterflies everywhere at the park that I was at, everywhere. I saw beetles, all of them, all the animals, all the insects, but the butterflies stood out to me so much. And what it meant to me was sometimes it's time to embrace the level up and embrace that new empowered and just free version of yourself and just big personality version of yourself like a butterfly does. So I've been seeing butterflies everywhere and I'm one of those people that takes it as a sign, and so I wanted to just go live and share what's been on my heart. So, we all have dreams and goals, whether it's, goals within your home or goals for your business, goals for your team, your family, all the things, right? And we know what's worked in the past and we've, done what we needed to do to adjust it to get to where we are now. And then it's like the future. There's more that we could be doing. There's more goals that we have, more dreams that we have, right? And so it's one of those things where sometimes we get stuck in the in between. We get stuck and we're like, well, how do I go from the old me, right? We figured out to go from the old us to where we are today. But sometimes the future seems so incredibly out of reach. And I took some notes. So if you see me looking down, that's what's up. But it's one of those things where what happens? We get so scared of the potential of the future. We get so scared of how is it going to look? How is it going to work out? We just get in our own way. And when I think about the butterfly has 3 stages before it reaches that butterfly state, right? It's a caterpillar on the ground, crawling around, okay, hoping not to get stepped on. That's a whole, part of our life that we don't want to go back to, right? But there does come a point where we have to go inside of the cocoon and transform within that space. And it's dark. There's no friends there. You may not get the support that you hope. You may not get the community that you hope for. Sometimes you have to go at it alone, and that can be really, really scary. The answers may not reveal themselves to you right away, which is what we want, right? We want the answers to come so quickly, and we don't want to have to go through all of the gunk and all the things. But when I think about the cocoon stage, what that means to me is inner work. What that means to me is taking time to retreat and slow down and go deep within, reassess what it is that you actually want in the next stage. A caterpillar doesn't know that it's about to be a butterfly. It just knows I'm sick of being on the ground. Things have to change, right? And a lot of times, I'm sure when that caterpillar makes that decision and there's something bigger than that caterpillar calling it to go into the cocoon, right? There is something, nature, God is pulling it to go into that cocoon stage. And I found that sometimes we as human beings, we want to run away from that alone time. We want to run away from sitting in the darkness, from sitting with ourselves because that's not fun. Like it's not fun. We love entertainment. We love to scroll and just get lost in the sauce, right? But when you sit with yourself, when you slow down, when you fall back and just be in a state of rest, that causes you to release control. And I think sometimes in today's day and age, it's very hard to release control because a part of you, I mean, most of us are control freaks, right? We've got our calendars, we've got our notepads, we've got all of the information on the internet. Everything is there for us. But with all that information, it doesn't mean anything if it doesn't get a chance to be planted like a seed within us. It doesn't mean anything if we don't take a minute to retreat and get serious and get quiet within ourselves with what does this mean for my life? I'm somebody who loves information. I love learning. I love consuming. I love learning about all of the amazing things that is out there, the latest gadgets, the latest online trends. But every piece of information may not be for me in that stage that I'm in. And so back to the butterfly, right? The butterfly, the cocoon and the caterpillar, right? The caterpillar is the butterfly. It's just not there yet. And to get to that stage, it has to retreat and go inside. And this is something that's been on my heart recently. And I've been journaling so much because we're not meant to stay the same. We're not meant to stay at caterpillar stage. And we're not meant to stay in the cocoon stage. We're meant to become the butterfly. And so it's okay to embrace that and know that just because you may be in a stage where you're in a cocoon, you may feel a little hermit vibes, that's okay because the butterfly is on the other side. And I feel like sometimes when we don't see success or we're stuck or we feel blocked and we feel that frustration, it's because we're being called to level up from the caterpillar stage to the cocoon stage for a season. There's nothing wrong with that. And then from there, we can truly become the butterfly. Now, one thing that's really been on my heart that I think is hilarious is sometimes we will be the butterfly. We will have done all the inner work. We would have learned all the things. We would have leveled up all the time. But then we like regress back to wanting to be a caterpillar. And this is something that I've had to really journal about and really get serious about because when you level up, when you grow, when you learn, when you start to embody the new, there is a part of you that may want to regress back to old habits because maybe family is there, maybe friends, old friends are there, maybe it feels uncomfortable because now you're flapping around like a butterfly, full of life, embodying this new reality. And there may be people that you know that aren't there yet. They may still be on the ground crawling like caterpillar, and there's no judgment, right? You were just there. There's no judgment if someone is retreating into a space of being a hermit because they need to just work on their mess, unpack what's worked, what hasn't, and take that time alone. But sometimes we feel lonely when we get into that butterfly stage because it's like who is going to be there with me? Are there other butterflies there? And I've seen in my life every time I've leveled up in my business or every time I've done more inner work or I've been able to get better, right? I've found myself wanting to revert back because it's uncomfortable. And it's funny because before I went live, I was on this group call that I'm on for women entrepreneurs, and the concept of self sabotage came up. And like, how do you overcome that? Why does that even happen? And there's a part of us that misses being the caterpillar. Sometimes there's a part of us that misses or feels like that's where we truly belong. And so imposter syndrome comes up and it's like maybe I was better off not being a butterfly because it may feel lonely here, it's uncomfortable here. A lot of people don't identify with who I am in this stage, but when I was a caterpillar, it was on and popping, right? I had friends all over the place. Um, I felt like I could identify with more people. But when God called the caterpillar to be the butterfly, it wasn't about the caterpillar staying a caterpillar. And I think sometimes we have to take a minute to ask ourselves, if you know that you're meant to be a butterfly, if you know you're meant to level up, if you know you're meant to have greater, to have more in life, it is important to understand the different stages and not be afraid of the cocoon stage where maybe you're retreating, maybe you're not as um, front facing, maybe you're handling things on the back end for a season. So when you do step into that power of the butterfly and you're flapping your wings and you have that butterfly bird's eye view, it's not your job to retreat. It's your job to call others higher. It's your job to be an inspiration to other people and to just embody it and not be afraid. And so, this is just something that's been on my heart recently when it comes to just success, leveling up, wanting to be the best version of yourself, and not letting the fear of being perfect or not letting the fear of rejection and not letting the fear of getting it wrong and not letting the fear of, if I focus on me, if I level up and I just pour into myself, am I do I think I'm better than other people? Am I, forgetting about my friends or forgetting about those who aren't there yet? But the beautiful thing about this is why I freaking love the butterfly so much. The beauty of the butterfly is that everyone is meant to be a butterfly. Everybody is meant to be a butterfly. You may not believe it because maybe you weren't told it when you were younger, or you didn't get to see family members or friends in your community actually finally embody the butterfly, but we all are called to be a butterfly. And if you look at butterflies, they all look different, but we all are meant to be butterflies. It's, will we embrace the different stages of being uncomfortable? I read somewhere that when caterpillars go into the cocoon, they literally are like breaking down their entire anatomy and dissolving and killing off the part of them that was the caterpillar to usher in the butterfly. That's crazy to think about. That it's like it has to completely get rid of the old to bring in the new. And sometimes you try to keep the old and hope that we'll get to the new. And it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But this is just some stuff that was on my heart. And I've realized with butterflies, because I let nature speak to me, that butterflies aren't worried. Caterpillars aren't worried about other caterpillars when they go into the cocoon. And when butterflies are flapping around, they aren't worried about their life before. They fully embrace and they flutter around, and it's beautiful. And it's something that we should all aspire to be in our life, because butterflies look different. One butterfly may look like perfection to one person, and someone else may be like, I don't like that butterfly. It's blue and black. That's not my fan, but I like the butterflies that are yellow and black. And that's us, right? That's us. We all look different. We all come from different backgrounds. But if we can see ourselves as the butterfly, even if right now we're not embodying it, it helps us to embrace that a lot more. Hi, Mari, how are you? He said the transformation is an uncomfortable process. The butterfly stage is uncomfortable because I do not recognize this new self. That right there. Sometimes we don't recognize the new version of ourselves because it's so different. And I'm so grateful to God, right? To show us this in nature, that the caterpillar and the butterfly don't look alike at all. At all. You wouldn't think that those were the same. But that's what transformation looks like. That's what choosing to step into the new looks like. And it's powerful and it's inspiring, y'all. It's inspiring too. Like, think about your community. Think about whether you work your office space. If you level up into the space of, I'm a butterfly now, imagine how that will inspire others. if you step into the space of, you know what, I don't want to be a caterpillar anymore, but I know I need to retreat for a little bit. I know I need to slow down. I need to journal. I need to heal. I need to do all these things before I can become the person that's ready to flutter and share my beauty with the world. Because you can't go from crawling around to flying around. There has to be that transitional period of sitting with yourself and really saying, is this what I want? And then if it is, beautiful, then you're ready. Mari said, the I am is the part of the process of allowing yourself to be seen. Yeah, totally. But I hope this resonates. I've just been thinking so much of like success and why sometimes we get so tripped up and we get so scared. We get so scared of what's next. And one thing that I've been journaling on a lot is how versus who. A lot of times we get so caught up with the concept of how is it going to get done? How can I reach my goals? How can I uh, get to that stage? How can I do all these things? I don't even think that's our job to know the answer of the how. Our job is, who do I need to become to embody and to hold the blessings that God has for me? Not how, that's God's job, okay? That's nature's job. But like who do I need to become to hold all the blessings and all the goodness and all the juiciness that life has to offer? And we get it wrong. We always focus on the how, but the caterpillar doesn't know, hey, I'm going to have to go up here and get into a cocoon and then become a butterfly. Nature just flows. It's a process, but it knows it's going to have to become a different who. A butterfly is a different who from the caterpillar, just period. And let me see. I just moved my thing because I realize I'm live on YouTube as well. And let me see. Some Genevieve wrote, in the cocoon, we are forced to face ourselves, like looking in the mirror. That's deep. The new is forever changing. And that's what's so beautiful. And I think we live in a world where it's constantly changing, constant, whether that social media is updating, what platforms could be canceled, what platforms could go out of style or could get banned, or what's changing in business, having to start a business, having to get a job, all these different things. But if we focus on our transformation, on ourselves getting better, that starts with making the decision first, moving into a space of reflection, moving into a space of, I may have been going, but it's not working. That's a huge thing too for me that I've been realizing lately is how much of a busy little bee I can be. How much of a busybody we all can be, right? Like we see people being like, oh, success looks like this, or do this and you'll have that. That's fine. But what is your journey? It's going to look different, and it's going to have a different timeline than other people. It's going to have a different look than other people's. And that is what makes the world so beautiful, is our differences, is the authenticity of our stories. And if we try to stay the same, we don't want to grow, we don't want to put ourselves out there, we don't want to embrace the new version of ourselves, we don't want to embrace the new stage because we don't like change, we'll never be able to see how beautiful the next level really is. I don't know about y'all. I want to be a butterfly. You know what I'm saying? We can be in the cocoon. And that's another thing. Sometimes people stay in the cocoon stage too long too. There's there's been times in my life where I have stayed in the healing stage really long and got lost in that space, but it's like it's stage to stage to stage. You're leveling up as life goes on, and there's always going to be levels, but I just wanted to come on here and share this. I think the butterfly is such a beautiful symbol in nature to show us that number one, change is a good thing. It's a beautiful thing. And we may have had a vision for our lives, for our businesses, for our homes, for whatever. But if God called all of us to be butterflies, why are we playing small? Why are we trying so hard to sit and figure it out? Or why are we spending so much time listening to thought leaders on what's the right thing to do and how to be even more busy and how to add more to your plate and how to, follow these steps when sometimes it's just retreating for a little bit, journal for a little bit, think about what has been working, what hasn't been working, how you got here, and really take a minute to dream about what does the future hold and know that it's yours. Whatever that looks like, you're meant to be a butterfly. You're meant to step into that beautiful future and bring it here to the now. You don't have to wait, for the right move, the right timing. When they say there's like, "Oh, you're giving me butterflies," or "I have a butterflies in my stomach," that's your cue to move maybe. Maybe that is your cue to take the leap and not let fear get in the way because fear is only real if we allow it to be. And that's something I found to be true for my life. I have done so much crazy, like off the whim things. I think about when I was in high school, I decided to just up and move to Arizona for college. What? I didn't know anybody out there. But making that decision without knowing the end in sight or the what was going to happen, I didn't focus on the how is it going to happen. I focused on who I wanted to be. I focused on who is Tina in this next chapter because she ain't staying here. That's literally where my mind was. I remember having a conversation with my dad, and he was like, "What are you going to do out there? Like, how is this going to, like, so many questions?" And I said, "I don't know, but it's going to happen." I was like 18. I had no idea. Honestly, looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was crazy. But it didn't matter. I knew in my heart I had outgrown where I was. I had outgrown it. And so I needed to do a radical decision to step into the future version that I wanted to be in. And I think that's really how you overcome self sabotage, right? Is like radical action, taking a radical step that feels so uncomfortable, but and it doesn't make sense, but your soul, your butterflies in your stomach are saying, let's go, let's do it. Because a part of you knows you're going to be okay. A part of you knows it's all going to work out. And y'all, I have to share a little testimony here. When I up and bounced and moved to Arizona, I flew out there with my parents. Long story short, my parents knew, we knew a couple that attended our church at the time, and the wife's cousin lived in Arizona. And I messaged her and I was like, "Hey, I remember you saying that you had someone that you knew that lived in Arizona. Could you connect me?" I'm 18, y'all. I didn't care. I knew I needed community. I needed somebody to stand in the gap for me. And I did something really uncomfortable. I reached out to a random third party. Long story short, they housed me and my family. They gave me a refrigerator. They gave me a bike. They helped me move into my dorm. They were like the family that supported me, and I met amazing friends. If I had stayed in that fear, if I had stayed in the how is it going to happen? How is this going to get done? How? If I got lost in the sauce of the how, instead of focusing on, no, this Tina ain't working anymore. I want to know, who is she in another place? Who is she in this new stage? And I think that's where butterflies should inspire us all. They are not worried about how is it all going to happen. They say, "I'm a freaking caterpillar. This is ghetto. I'm tired of being on this ground. It's not fun. I have outgrown this. They retreat for a little bit, they figure it out, they spend time alone. And then when it's time, they break free and they're flying and they're shining bright. And I think this is something that is not a one time thing. And I can attest to that because I moved to Arizona right after high school for college. I moved back to Georgia to finish college, and then after college was done, I said, "Peace out again," and I moved to Los Angeles. That was another butterfly move. That was another stage to say, "You know what? I'm going to embrace this new level up because what's happening here is not the vibe. I've outgrown this stage. So what's next?" And I didn't hesitate. And when I think about when I moved to LA, I sold my car, y'all. I moved with like $5,000. I didn't have a job lined up. I just had an unpaid internship. I had cousins that lived out there, and I thank God for them every day because they let me stay on their couch. But I figured it out as it went. And that's the beauty, right? It's not wondering how is it all going to happen or work out. It's having peace knowing that God wants all of us to be butterflies. And it doesn't matter if you're in the caterpillar stage or if you are in the cocoon stage, you're meant to be out here flooding around and having that beautiful view and inspiring others. And sometimes we get stuck, like I said, on the ground, or we get stuck in the cocoon stage, getting lost in the sauce of learning, of getting lost in the sauce of, listening to all the podcasts and scrolling on all the feeds and watching all the YouTube videos and all the experts. When it's like, no, sometimes you need to take a minute and just get a pen and piece of paper out and journal. Who do I want to be? What I want my life to look like? Because we're all so young. Whoever's watching this, it doesn't matter. We're young. In my mind, you're never too old. Side note, a few weeks ago, or was this last week? My Nana turned 90 years old. 90, 90. And she is so full of life. She's so cute. She's bubbly. She bowls every week. She goes bowling every week, like with a ball. And I think about how beautiful her birthday speech was. And we just limit ourselves so much. We think we've run out of time. We think it's too late. We think, well, I've made too many mistakes, or I made the wrong turn so many times, or I said I would do that and I never did. So this is my lot that I need to just accept. My Nana's 90. And it was funny because I was like, "Nana, do you have it all figured out?" I asked her, I was like, "Do you have it all figured out?" And she said, "Please." At 90, she said, "I'm still figuring it out." But that keeps her young. She continues to go through the cycle of caterpillar, cocoon, butterfly, constantly renewing, constantly excited, and knowing that there's more and being okay with that. I think sometimes we get really uncomfortable when we're like, "Man, I'm in the caterpillar stage, right? I'm in the baby stage. I'm learning so much. I'm fumbling around. This feels really uncomfortable. Someone throw me a bone, a lifeline, something. It's looking really rough out here." And then we retreat because we're like, "I have so many bumps and bruises. This isn't working. What's next?" And we take time alone. We figure it out. We assess. We review. One of the journaling prompts that I did recently that really changed the game for me, and I don't know if y'all want to like do this too, but it's like what have you been doing the past 3 6 months that got you here? Like what wins have you accomplished? What has really worked out in your favor? And also journaling what hasn't yet, like what desires haven't come yet. And then assessing like where are you right now? With no judgment, just assessing where are you right now? And then journaling, you know, where do I want to be in the next 3, 6 months? Like, what does that look like? Where do I want to be in the next year, in the next 3 years, and reverse engineer. And when we look at that bird's eye view of like what our desires are, what our dreams are, a part of us knows it's not how we're going to get there. It's, man, I'm going to have to change. I'm going to have to change. I'm going to have to get a new perspective. I'm going to have to make myself uncomfortable. And that is something that is really scary because we can get so addicted to crawling around on the ground. We can get so addicted to the chaos. We can get so addicted to every day, the mundane, feeling uncomfortable. We can just get so addicted that it doesn't matter. But like I said, there's that tug in your heart that's like, no, there's more. And like I said, I think about my Nana who just turned 90, like y'all, she still has more life to live. She said that to me at 90. And sometimes with social media and all this content, we can think that, like, wow, I'm running out of time, or it's too late for me, or I don't know what's next. So I'm just going to accept this. No, look to the butterfly and think about what stage are you at, and not how can I become the butterfly, but who do I need to become? And that's it. Age is just a number. Yes. Age is just a number. And I'm just so lit up when I think about stuff like this. And there was this movie that I think won an Oscar. Don't quote me on this, but I think it was like Everywhere All at Once or something like that. Like all, I don't know. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know. It was like an all Asian cast. Fantastic film. But the concept of like we are all in all places at the same time, including our ideal future self. I love that because that is literally the butterfly. Like the caterpillar is the butterfly. It just doesn't know it yet. It just doesn't know it yet. And so, if there's a dream that's in your heart, if there is a vision that you have for your life, if there is a goal that you have for your life, and that can look like anything. That's another thing. Sometimes we compare our goals and our visions to other people. No, cut it out. Your goal and vision may be I want to have a family and I want to have a house and a backyard and I want to live in a sunny place and pay my bills and support my family. Someone else may be like, I want to travel the world, jet set, and all the things. It's different. But whatever that dream is, you are there. But how we get there is we reverse engineer with who do I need to become to get there, not how. And so I just wanted to share this with you all and just encourage you that whenever you get overwhelmed with how the heck are my dreams going to happen? How the heck am I going to get there? How the heck am I even going to do the things that I want to do? Remember, you're so young still, no matter what age you are. Even if you're a caterpillar or in the cocoon, you are made to be a butterfly, period. Don't let anybody tell you different. If someone tells you that, like, oh yeah, you can't achieve that or you can't reach that goal, they're still in the caterpillar stage. They haven't mentally gotten to that place of realizing that they themselves are a butterfly. But if you have that feeling inside of you, God put you in their life to inspire them. And sometimes we don't want to go at it alone. We don't want to change things up because, like I said, it can be uncomfortable, but it's okay. We're all here to inspire each other. And the more we lean in to what our heart really desires and what it is that lights us up, whether that's pivoting, learning more, taking a step back, whatever that is, tuning into what it is that our heart's desire is, what our soul longs for, because that was given to us by God. So obviously it's going to happen. But when we get so wrapped around the axle of how is this going to happen, we miss it. We miss living life. We miss the cool steps that are miracles. Literally, we miss it. And so I just wanted to share that. She wrote, "Won't God do it? He's using you to speak directly to me." Aw, thank you for watching. Thank you so much. I've just been so lit up recently about this topic. And another thing I want to share really quick before I hop off is sometimes we can be so like focused on the future that we don't reflect. And that's where I think the cocoon is. That's the place of reflection of like, what hasn't worked? Where do I want to be? How did I get here? All the things, truly like breaking down and killing off all the things that just feel like the old us, basically. And realizing that it's okay to stop, reflect, and be proud of the old who, like the old us. Like, don't judge the caterpillar stage. Be proud of that stage. Honor that stage. Give gratitude to that stage. Because even if you were a busybody or you were like fumbling the ball, you were getting it wrong constantly, that version of yourself got you here. That version of yourself was brave enough to face all of the crazy that life threw at it. And I think sometimes we get really ashamed of our past, or we get really ashamed of all the mistakes. But those mistakes got us here. And those mistakes inspire others. Those mistakes should inspire ourselves. Imagine if you're a butterfly and you're like, man, I used to be crawling on the ground. Look at how cute I am now. Y'all see these wings? Like, sometimes we don't even want to reflect and be like, wow, look at how far I've come. And we don't even give ourselves a minute to just be proud of our wings, because we always are looking for the next thing. And there's nothing wrong with looking to the future and having those desires, but it's so important to take time to just like journal and just be proud of how far we've come and challenge what's possible. That's huge. The caterpillar has to challenge its beliefs in the cocoon. And I think that's something that is really scary and not really taught to us in society, that it's okay to challenge what you believe to be true about yourself. It's okay to challenge what you believe to be true about your family, about what society says about you. It doesn't matter. It's what you subscribe to. A caterpillar could subscribe to the fact that it's a caterpillar, or it could say, I'm a butterfly. Y'all just haven't seen my wings yet, but wait on it. And then when it does finally get there, awesome. But the cocoon stage is about challenging what you believe to be true about yourself and deciding, what are you going to believe? Are you going to accept the negative self-talk? Or are you going to accept what society's put on you? You're a woman, you're a person of color, you're disabled. Oh my gosh, all the things. Your body's not the right way to look for this industry, this or that. There's people who have broken standards throughout history, and they have done it their own way. I think about Lizzo. She easily could not be in the industry that she's in. She gets dragged on the internet every day from people who don't like her body, who don't like the way she looks. She's still out here a whole butterfly. Lizzo is still out here a whole butterfly, fluttering her wings with her clothing brand, amazing music, playing her flute, and dancing on stage. Is she for everybody? Absolutely not. But neither are you, and neither am I. But she's living in her truth. She's living in what lights her up. And I think sometimes fear sets in because we watch how society drags people like Lizzo, or we watch how society is so unforgiving to people that want to step up and do something different and look different and do it unapologetically, right? Because they've done the inner work, that we're like, oh God, that can be me. But it's like I said, can you challenge what you believe to be true about yourself? Can it be bigger than yourself? Lizzo is one of those people where she has helped so many women that it's bigger than the people who drag her. It's bigger than the people who say that she shouldn't exist literally in the industry, or she's causing harm. But she's causing a lot of great beautiful things too. She's causing a lot of great things and a lot of beautiful positivity in the world with women who look like her. So I just want to encourage you to not be afraid of whatever stage you're in, whether it's the caterpillar, cocoon, or butterfly stage. Embrace it and know that there is more. You are called to be a butterfly. And once you become a butterfly, don't shrink, don't clip your wings. For who? Because they're literally they have the potential to be a butterfly just like you. So maybe when you fully embrace and embody the butterfly stage, you'll call others higher too. You'll inspire them. But if we all are afraid, if we all stay caterpillars, the world is not going to be so pretty. We all love seeing butterflies fly around in springtime, and there's just something so magical about them. So don't clip your wings. Don't be afraid to go into the cocoon, reflect, reassess, and know that each one of us is a capable human being that God has called to be a butterfly. But I hope this resonated, and thank you for watching. I'm going to save this. And if it resonated with you, leave me a comment as well about self-limiting beliefs, about fear of being a butterfly, even though that's what we all are called to do. Literally, God showed us in nature that, yeah, that's what we're called to. Caterpillar ain't it. And if there's people in your life that are in different stages and you see yourself as a butterfly, embrace that and know that you're there to show what's possible. No shrinking, no limiting anything. Challenge what you believe to be true. It's like I'm telling you, there's so much more, even with my story from moving to Arizona, moving to LA, moving back here. Who knows what's next? I might move overseas one day. Who knows? But I know that there's cycles to this. I know that it's okay to challenge what I believe to be true. And I know that it's beautiful when we really believe that there's more. We change ourselves and the lives of others. I believe that when you step into your true calling, when you step into a space of, you know what, I am going to embrace the butterfly vibes. I'm going to embrace this new stage that I'm stepping into. That's contagious. I just read this book, and I swear I'm going to close it out with this, but I just read this book called Captivate. It's amazing. And she talks about how people say fake it till you make it. First off, that doesn't work because energetically you're contagious. So if you're a hot mess, that hot messery is contagious. If you embody it, that's contagious too. So instead of trying to fake it, how about taking real time to assess, to slow down, to journal, to sit with yourself, to sit with God, to meditate, and truly think about how can I embody versus fake it? Because when you do embody it, when you're like, you know what? This is what I see for myself. I don't care what other people say. I don't care if they're still a caterpillar. I don't care if they're in their cocoon stage. I'm ready to break free. I have something to say. I have something to release. I have something to promote. I have something that I know can help somebody else. That's amazing. That is amazing. And it inspires other people. You become contagious to other people, and not in a bad way, right? But like in a good kind of, like they catch what you got, that in a good way, not a sick way. And you inspire others. I think whenever people go from the caterpillar stage into the cocoon stage and they're a hermit and they've retreated, once they've healed and once they've assessed and once they've done inner work and once they're like, you know what? Yeah, this is so uncomfortable. I don't care at this point. I have to move on to the next one. That overflows onto your community. And I think sometimes we get afraid of like, if I change, how is this going to affect my community? How is this going to affect my partner? How is this going to affect my friend group? How is this going to affect my family if they're not on the same page? But newsflash, nobody's on the same page 100% of the time. And that's okay. That is okay. Who you're meant to inspire will be inspired. What message you're meant to say will hit with who it's meant to hit with. Whatever next step you're called to make, whether it's moving, pivoting, switching it up, retreating, it is meant to land the way it's meant to land. Our job is to focus on who do I need to become to embody this next stage, not how is this going to happen? Imagine if a caterpillar was like talking to God and God was like, okay, so you're going to go hang yourself from this tree limb. You're going to completely like decompose yourself. It's going to probably burn and be awful and all these things. But don't worry, you'll be a butterfly in the end. Heck no. That caterpillar might be like, you know what? Actually, the ground's looking kind of cute. Like I'm really not trying to do all that. It's not about knowing how, it's about who you want to become and who God has for you and what God has for you. But you got to be the right vessel to step into that and fly and flutter boldly like a butterfly would. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. I am done rambling. I was just so lit up today and I saw butterflies and it's springtime here finally and the sun is out and that's when Tina comes alive. Like I said, if you rewatch this, leave me a comment. Let me know if you're in a butterfly stage, if you feel like you're in hermit mode and you're in a cocoon stage, or if you feel like you're in the caterpillar stage and you're ready for more. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm sending you lots of love, lots of blessings and encouragement. Have a great week, everybody. Thank you so much for watching.